I want you to call your family and friends. Seriously, have them turn this on. Turn the channel to this program because people need to hear the brutal honesty of what just happened in Afghanistan. Now, I'm going to make a lot of people really uncomfortable by saying this, but I really don't care because it needs to be said. If you voted for Joe Biden, you directly contributed to this situation in Afghanistan that killed 13 American soldiers, full stop. 13 American heroes who didn't have to die, 13 families that'll never be the same. Let's say their names. Kareem Nikouri, United States Marine, Lance Corporal, 20 years old from Narco, California, okay? McCoy was assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division based in Camp Pendleton, California. He joined the Marines in 2019 after graduating high school. He was barely alive at 9/11. His family says he always wanted to be a Marine, and that he planned to make a career out of it. United States Marine Lance Corporal David Lee Espinoza, 20 years old, from Laredo, Texas. He had just transferred from Jordan to Kabul 1 week ago to help with the evacuation. Navy Corpsman Max Sobiek, 22 years old, from Berlin Heights, Ohio. He was an honor roll student in high school and played football. His mother, father, and 12 brothers and sisters all in mourning tonight. Lance Corporal Riley McCollum, 20 years old, from Jackson, Wyoming. His enlistment was on his 18th birthday, determined to serve in the Marines, and just got married earlier this year, then deployed to Jordan and was relocated to Afghanistan 2 weeks ago. Collum's widow is pregnant with the couple's first child. She's due next month. Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz, he was 20 years old from Wentzville, Missouri, joined the Marine Corps shortly after graduating from high school in 2019 and was on his first overseas deployment. He too was relocated to Afghanistan just 2 weeks ago. Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole Lee G., 23 years old, from San Diego, California. She was assigned to a combat logistics unit at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. She was promoted to sergeant in Kuwait not long before landing in Afghanistan. Her husband, also Marine. Staff Sergeant Darren Taylor Hoover, 31 years old, from Midval, Utah. 11 years in the Marines. His family says he was inspired to join the military by the September 11th attacks. He was 11 years old when that happened. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan Noss, 23 years old, Corryton, Tennessee. He deployed to Afghanistan in 2017 with the 82nd Airborne Division, Bronze Star, Purple Heart. Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22 years old, from Coachella Valley, California. He joined the Marines shortly after high school graduation in 2017. He was planning on joining the local sheriff's department when he returned home from this deployment. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Dylan Morella, 20 years old, from Ranchero, California. He was the first overseas tour and due to return to the U.S. this month. Marine Corporal Dagan William Tyler Page was 23 years old, from Omaha, Nebraska. He planned to go to trade school and possibly even try out for the NFL when his enlistment ended. Sergeant Rosario Picardo was 25 years old, from Lawrence, Massachusetts. A supply chief with the 5th Marine Expeditionary Brigade, she was deployed to Afghanistan as part of a task force assisting the State Department in evacuating Afghans and Americans. She was a member of the brigade's Female Engagement Team, a group of experienced Marines chosen to navigate delicate and cultural issues within the Taliban. Marine Corporal Humberto Sanchez, 22 years old, from Logansport, Indiana. He enlisted after graduating high school in 2017, where he played varsity soccer, took honors, dual credit college classes, and was on the homecoming court. Here they are. Folks, most of these people are barely old enough to rent a car, but yet they're overseas serving on our behalf. They're the real American victims of Joe Biden's presidency. And people need to understand that this is what happens when you elect people that have 50 years of experience and no actual accomplishments to show for it. I'm talking to everyone, even members of my family, okay? This is difficult for me because I'm talking to members of my family too, who had the chance to elect somebody who projected strength versus someone who had been on the wrong side of nearly every foreign policy decision for 50 years. We must get away from the anonymity justification that, oh, my vote didn't do this. It did do this. If you voted for Biden, it did. There's no way to spin this as anything but a complete catastrophic failure. And if you voted for Joe Biden, you attribute it to that. Let's take a step back though. I want to look at the fact that they knew this was coming and they still did nothing. This largely could have been avoidable. July 13th, that's almost 2 months ago, the State Department warned that this was likely the outcome for this type of course of action. And as reported in the Wall Street Journal, the State Department the cable sent via the State Department's confidential dissent channel warned of rapid terrorist gains by the Taliban in the subsequent collapse of the Afghan security forces and offered recommendations on ways to mitigate the crisis and speed up an evacuation, the two people said. Okay? So now John Kirby and the State Department are trying to spin this into something positive.
In the course of a very short order of time, 122,000, the largest airlift that the U.S. military has conducted, got 122,000 people to safety. The numbers speak for themselves. 122,000 plus is significant, and a lot of lives were saved, and a lot of lives are now in a better place.
Trying to make it something positive? How about the ones that are still left there? You think this is some sort of political game, Kirby? You trying to save face? 13 American troops just died, and you want to somehow take credit for the poorly executing the very job that you should have been doing in the first place. How about you just call it what it is? I'd have a lot more respect for you if you were just honest. This is a failure, and the measures put in place to make sure that nothing ever happens like this again are still not being taken. Instead, Kirby's up there proposing we should be patting him on the back for him somehow attempting to solve the problem that they originated. They created this problem. Since when do we care about how many people got out of the war zone? The only thing that Kirby should be saying right now is, how many people are still out there? That's the question we'd ask. Is there one American left on the ground? But instead, their energy is focused on this. In Kabul, private rescue efforts grow desperate as time runs out. Eric Prince, okay, the guy who knows probably more about private contracting than anybody in the world. He's done this on behalf of governments that everyone in the world has gone to him as the subject matter expert. He's one of these people working to these private efforts to rescue people. He did an interview this week and claimed that Biden administration has asked local governments not to cooperate with these private organizations, basically thwarting the only attempts at rescuing these people out in town right now. Mm-hmm. Now, I can tell you this is true. And you want to know how I know? Because I wanted to go. I tried every effort I had, every connection I had, every phone call I could make. I used every effort at my fingertips to get on a plane and go get our people. I was trained for this, probably better than just about anybody in the world. I did this in Iraq. And we had planes that were willing to fly us over there. But nobody could get approvals to get us into country. The contractor groups I spoke with were dumbfounded. Why they were being blocked from helping get American people out of Afghanistan.
Sick.